Welcome back, everyone. Start of the second quarter here at Paul Brown Stadium. Ohio State's Scarlet and Gray spring game. Scarlet team led by Braxton Miller with a touchdown in quarter number 1. With Coach Glenn Mason, I'm Eric Collins. Ashley Ignelzi is also on our crew. Turned out to be an absolutely gorgeous day. Kind of an important game for Ohio State, coming down to Cincinnati and trying to do some good things here in the Queen City. All right, Ashley is standing by with Luke Fickle. Ashley, take it away.
Coach Fickle with Ryan Shazier being the lone returning starter in that defensive front 7. What's the competition been like on defense?
Oh, there's been a lot. I mean, we've got a lot of young guys up front. We've got a lot of young guys at linebacker. So that's actually why it's been a real exciting spring. Guys got a lot of energy. Some guys are seeing some light at the end of the tunnel, and competition brings out the best in all of us.
And what are some of the things that you like from guys that could potentially fill that linebacker gap?
We're looking for some leadership. We're looking for that guy that can bring some passion and energy, and that's one of those things that Zach Bourne brought over to us when we switched him over midway through the year. So we're got to pick up for the loss of passion and energy right there that Zach had, and not having Ryan in there right now is giving other guys a chance to really do that.
Well, you mentioned the leadership. Obviously, it's difficult to replace the productivity from guys like John Simon, Savino, Bourne, but how difficult is it to replace their leadership?
That's what we're working on. You know, we're developing that mentality and that attitude, but the idea of the leadership things, and you really develop that leadership over time. It's not something you're going to see in one day, in one spring game, but over the whole 15 days of practice all through the summer, and then we get rolling into the season.
All right, thanks, Coach Fickle.
Thank you, guys.
Eric, back to you.
Ashley, thank you so much. This is our second look at Kenny Guyton, senior from Houston, Texas, leading this Gray offense. Led him down close to the goal line first time, but stalled and missed a field goal.
Well, we've seen Kenny Guyton in past in pressure situations, but, you know, as I sit here and watch this, he's not a young guy. He's a fifth-year senior. He's been around a while, and he looks like it. He stands tall in the pocket. He knows what he's doing. He keeps his eyes downfield, and he makes good decisions. I think the most important thing that a quarterback has to do is good decisions. You can't force the play if it's not there, and he shows that type of experience.
And Mason shows you how much Urban Meyer and his staff think about Kenny Guyton to put that black shirt on him. It is a big-time luxury to have a senior with so much experience as the backup to a guy in Braxton Miller, who, quite frankly, the way that he plays, you're always kind of gnashing your nails, wondering, is he going to stay healthy for the entire year?
Well, exactly right. You know, you're one play away from being the starter, and I think Urban Meyer, by also putting him in a black shirt, tells him just how important he is to this team. You know, Braxton Miller is going to get all the publicity, all the hype, rightfully so, but you're very, very, very important for this team. You got to be ready to go at a moment's notice.
And he was. This was his biggest game at Ohio Stadium against Purdue. The Buckeyes surprisingly struggling big time. Braxton Miller was out, but Kenny Guyton was poised, knew what he needed to do, and the Buckeyes eventually win it in overtime. And remember, without that win right there, the perfect season goes out the window.
Well, big win, big job by Kenny Guyton, and I think, you know, when you talk to the coaches beating this to death, they have complete confidence. If Braxton Miller was not here, for some reason, they would have complete confidence. It wouldn't be like the world ended because Kenny Guyton is pretty darn good.
Another catch for Blake Thomas, freshman tight end from Cleveland, getting some early work. He is from the west side of Cleveland, St. Ignatius High School. They have historically had a terrific program. This is the second team offense for the most part. Guys mixing and matching against the second team defense.
You mentioned Blake Thomas, who's third on the depth chart as far as the tight end. Young guy, he's a redshirt sophomore. But as Urban says, he says, you know what? You earn your place on the depth chart in spring practice. If you want a chance to play next year, now you earn it, because once we get around to the fall, we worry about winning games. So you want your shot, show us right now. And that's what he's doing. He's getting an opportunity. He's showing he can play.
This will be a model.
Another quick hitter. Pass is caught. This time it's Michael Thomas. Everyone's been talking about how well Thomas has been playing here this spring. He shows you what he's got all the way down to the 20-yard line. Thomas is a guy who's got a very special relationship with Braxton Miller. this past off-season, Thomas, who is from Los Angeles, actually hosted Braxton Miller at his house for about a week and a half when Braxton Miller was having some one-on-one coaching sessions with George Whitfield, longtime quarterback guru who is based out in Southern California. So come the fall, Braxton Miller, he knows where to find Michael Thomas. Those two are simpatico.
Oh, I'm totally lost it.
Another chance here. This is Thomas once again, his second straight catch.
Well, you heard Urban when we interviewed him on the sideline there. He said, hey, I want to see Thomas make some plays. I want to see Michael Thomas make plays. You mentioned he's from Los Angeles, and he got to Ohio State by way of Fork Union Military Academy. I don't know if you've ever been to Fork Union.
Right?
There's a lot of great players that have come out of there. I don't know if you've ever been to Fork Union, Virginia, where the military academy is, but I mean, it's a crossroads. There's nothing there, absolutely nothing there except football and going to school.
Yeah, Buckeyes have another guy from Fork Union on this year's roster. We're going to see him in a bit. Third string quarterback, Cardale Jones.
Well, my great quarterback at Minnesota that had Assad Abdul Khalik, who came to us from Elizabeth High School in Elizabeth, New Jersey, went to Fork Union for a year, had a great career there. Actually had a better career, got more notoriety playing at Fork Union, and everybody came out of the woodwork trying to recruit him, but he was loyal and came to Minnesota, had a great career for us.
3rd down and 1. Kenny Guyton out of the shotgun. That's 3 receivers right side. Scarlet team showing blitz, and it works. Blowing up that play in the backfield, but good power shown by Warren Ball, and he's got a 1st down. Down to the 10-yard line.
I think that was Adam Griffin who made that play off the blitz, wasn't it? Huh?
I think it was Archie's kid.
Yeah, I had to be. I saw Archie jumping up and down. You knew that was his son out there making the play. I'll tell you, Archie Griffin, great football player, better person. I'm not telling anybody anything they don't know, but.
Into the end zone. It is incomplete. There's Eli Apple. Eli Apple is a name that Buckeye fans are going to be hearing for a while. At least that's what people think. This is an early enrollee. Came in from high school just a couple of months ago.
From the great state of New Jersey.
He is from New Jersey, Voorhees, New Jersey. So he is going to be a true freshman come the fall. And he's got a significant opportunity to get playing time as a true freshman in that backfield. He's that talented. Guyton completes it short of the 5-yard line.
Now, can you really appreciate that? You think about it. All his guys that he grew up with and all that kind of stuff, they're running track now, or they're trying to get a date to the prom or whatever. And here he is. He's playing for the Buckeyes in Paul Brown Stadium. You talk about have to make a quick change in your life, and he's doing it. And he's showing that he might have an early opportunity to play for the Buckeyes.
Yeah, there are 5 early enrollees in this 2013 Ohio State recruiting class. Eli Apple is one of them. Now close to the goal line, that's going to be a touchdown for the gray team. Chris Fields continues to show what he is all about. Guyton to Fields. We've seen that before. Purdue game 2012. They score a touchdown here.
Heavy on the pass today. You remember, I keep talking about where they were statistically nationally throwing the ball. Remember, they were 10th nationally running the football. Big emphasis on throwing the ball here today.
Why'd you say that? Before this game even began, you said 90% passing in your eyes was to be expected from Ohio State. Why?
Well, I know what type of coach Urban Meyer is, and I would think, he's going to continually work on the things that they need improvement on. He knows they can run the football. He knows that. And they don't have all the weapons for the option with Jordan Hall being injured. And the other thing is, he doesn't want to get those offensive linemen injured. Now, they can get injured in passing game, but more likely they'll get rolled up on, and they're running the ball quite a bit, so he wants to keep those offensive linemen healthy.
All right, Ashley standing by with Bradley Roby. Ashley, take it away.
Bradley, you're down here cheering on your teammates from the sidelines. How hard is it for you not to be out there today?
It's very tough not being able to be out here in a new and nice environment like Cincinnati. This stadium is nice. The fans is everywhere, and I just want to be on the field. But I can't play, so it's okay.
Typically, what is your outlook, though, as a player, during a spring game?
This is a time for young players who haven't really played much to come up and make plays and show that they can play and make their move to get on that roster for the fall. So it's fun. It's more laid back than fall camp is, so it's a lot more fun.
Well, with losing so many guys on the defensive side of things, are you looking forward to having a leadership role and being very vocal this year?
Yes, that's what I've been working on this spring, is being a better leader, being the #1 guy for our defense. That's what I'm going to have to be. And as the best player, I'm going to have to be the best leader. So that's something we've all been working on, me, Christian, and CJ Barnett, and that's what we're working on.
Buckeye fans will be happy to hear that. Get well soon. All right, thanks.
Thank you.
Eric, back to you.
Ashley, thank you. Bradley Roby last year tying an Ohio State record with 17 pass breakups.
Led the nation in breakups.
Interception return versus Nebraska for a touchdown. Fumbled punt return for a touchdown against Miami. Blocked punt return for a touchdown against Indiana.
You know, it's interesting talking to his coach, Coach Coombs, and was saying that Bradley's a me guy. A me guy. And I initially took that as a negative, and he went on to explain further. He says, no, he says, not from a team standpoint. He's a great team guy, but he said all great corners that you put out there, they got to be me guys. I can get it done. Put me out there. Count on me. And he is definitely a me guy.
Well, being a me guy, he knows that the shoulder injury that he had at the tail end of last year needs to be as close to 100% as possible, and that's the reason why he's not playing today. But the shoulder's expected to be totally fine for when practice starts in the fall. This is something you can do a spring game. You know, you kind of run the roost here.
Yep,
if you want to work on the kicking game, do it right now, right in the middle of the game.
That's not too good there. Tee it up again. That's in golf we call it a mulligan, right? No, you know what, Urban out there, Coach Meyer, he's more than the head coach. He's the commissioner today. He can do whatever he wants, and gives a chance. Again, when you put the kicker out there, it's under pressure, more pressure than he's in the face in practice. Let's find out what he can do.
Why is Urban so close to the holder right there?
That's more pressure. I had a player tell me one time, he says, you know, Coach, I can make these kicks, but when you're around, it makes me nervous. I said, you know, I am going to the games, you know, and you got to get used to it. He said, but you don't have to stand so close. But that's what he's doing. He's trying to put, I want to say artificial pressure. I don't think it's artificial. Real pressure on that young man.
And Basil comes up short. Folks, these are bombs, just by the way. He's holding it at the 44-yard line, so add the 10 yards of the end zone, and those are 54-yarders that Drew Basil is coming up short on. Now, this isn't the first time that Coach Meyer has put some pressure on Drew Basil in the kicking game. This was last Saturday, Student Appreciation Day, and you have the whole student body basically surrounding him.
But it's not from 54 yards. I had read where they were going to try to get some co-eds to come out and kick some field goals.
They did. That was part of Student Appreciation Day. It didn't work out as well as planned.
No one, they didn't make it, or what?
No. I think someone got drilled in the back of the head.
It'd have been interesting if they would have had a co-ed come out and make a 54-yarder.
Oh, goodness.
She might be out there today.
All right, third time with the football for Braxton Miller and the Scarlet offense. Talk to me about Braxton Miller. What would you like to see him work on and improve by the time fall camp starts? Where is the point where he possibly could be better than last year when he finished 5th in the Heisman Trophy ballot?
Well, from an Ohio State standpoint, I think he's already done that. He's much more of a leader. You heard Coach Meyer and a lot of the players say, you know, in the past, if practice started at 3 o'clock, Braxton would come running out at 2:59. He wouldn't be late, but he wouldn't be early. And now he's been taking a leadership role. He's out there early. He's working on things. He's working with other players. And that's first and foremost. The other thing is we know that he can pull the ball down and run. Look what he rushed for last year. Truly amazing. Now, at times when you have all that success, you can get some antsy feet, and all of a sudden there might be an open receiver. A receiver is going to become open downfield, but you see a hole to run, you put it down and run. Let's not take off and run on those design passes until you have to.
If Braxton Miller turns out to be throwing the football more in 2013 and running less than he did in 2012, is Ohio State a better team?
I don't think there's any doubt about that. I think for them to improve, if he's going to maintain his running threat ability. If they can get that running attack really going, you know, Carlos Hyde said he wants to be the first 1,000-yard rusher by a running back that Urban Meyer's ever coached. If he become a 1,000-yard rusher and they get the option game going with Jordan Hall like they did with Percy Harvin when he was in Florida. They will be much better if he's a better thrower.
And Miller continues to be under pressure in that backfield, and he's touched, I believe that was Noah Spence and Joel Hale in the vicinity. Spence is number 8, Hale number 51. Spence unofficially, I think everything's unofficial today, 3 sacks so far here in this first 2 quarters of play.
You want to find out who's playing well. A lot of times you talk to the players. You want to know who the defensive line are playing well. Go ahead and talk to the offensive lineman. We talked to Jack Newhart. He was talking about, hey, those guys are going to be good. I'm telling you, I have to go against them every day. And
again, pressure in the backfield, and again, the ball is knocked away. Adolphus Washington in on the mix.
Well, that's the guy he singled out. He's talked about Adolphus Washington. He said, this guy is really something. He's got all the ability. He could be a great pass rusher. In fact, he said, I think he will be a great pass rusher. And he has the ability and potential to be a great run stopper, and that's what will make him a complete player.
6'3", 292 pounds, right here in Cincinnati. Went to Taft High School. Was actually a big-time basketball player, and he's learning how to be a dominant football player. Long shot down the field, incomplete. Devin Smith had it, and then had it knocked away. Good defense played again by Armani Reeves. Reeves was called for a pass interference back in the first quarter. This time he atones.
Well, you know, you think about a year ago on their undefeated season, you know, Corey Brown became the receiver, had 60 receptions, and Devin Smith became the guy that had the over-the-top speed. He's the guy who could be the game breaker. He's the guy that you better back up on a little bit or he's going to run right by you, and you saw it right there. 2 things in offensive football to make you successful, partner: consistency and big plays. And to be great, for them to go undefeated again, that's what they're going to need on this offense: consistency and big plays.
4th down and 16, the punt team comes on. This is Basil, and his punt is short. It is fair caught at about the 27-yard line. No return as per usual. I think that's going to be the only time we see Jordan Hall this afternoon, is on fair catching punt returns. The grind to be the best, well, it has already begun. Our guys deliver the latest on position battles, interviews, and a breakdown of the on-field action. The BTN Football Report, Spring Football Edition. That is tonight at 11 p.m. Eastern Time. Busy Saturday around the conference. Indiana, Purdue, Michigan, Ohio State all having their spring games.
This is the earliest Ohio State has ever had their spring game, and I believe probably one of the big reasons is they've gone from the quarter system to semesters. They're going to get out of school a heck of a lot earlier. And you know, when I was in school, we used to not start spring practice until after spring break, which was the month of April, and the first Saturday in May is when you had the spring game.
How important was spring football and the spring game for Woody Hayes when you played for him?
Pretty darn important. You know, we were 20 days, and it was there were no days in shorts and shoulder pads and that kind of stuff. Every day was a battle because I'm not saying he didn't worry about injuries, but there was no game that played. So, you know, we'd practice 4 times a week, and every Saturday was a scrimmage, an all-out scrimmage. And you know, the thing about Coach Hayes back then, he was pretty darn smart. What he would do is that he would really test the positions that he wasn't so sure on. If he had guys coming back that were proven players, like if he was going against the defense and you had Shazier over one side, the linebacker, but a new guy on the other side, he's going to the other side all day to find out about that guy.
Kenny Guyton throws a pass incomplete over the middle. Trying to squeeze it over to Chris Fields. Fields has caught everything so far today except for that one.
He's had a good day. Again, you look at consistency. When it comes in, if they're going to throw the ball more effectively, go back to last year. Statistically, they weren't very good. There's a lot of reasons. And we've seen Braxton Miller. He's got an arm. He can make the plays. You need the protection. You need the routes run right. You need the guys to catch ball. You need guys to break tackles after they catch it. It all goes together.
3rd down and 10, and again, pressure in the backcourt. Guyton is touched. That's going to be a quick 3 and out, you'd imagine, unless coaching staff decides to leave the gray offense on the field. Doesn't appear to be the case, so we'll have a punt with under 2 minutes to play here in our second quarter.
We talked about the offensive line. They should be awful good. It should be the strength of this football team, especially the offensive football team, if they can come up with a right tackle. Now, in saying that, though, they have depth concerns. They have to develop some of these young guys because these guys are going to be playing. They're only going to be around here one more year. They're almost all going to be seniors, or someone goes down with an injury, you've got a problem. So depth in the offensive line is another major concern.
Yeah, for Ohio State, 80% of that offensive line coming back. You got Jack Muhort. He's a known quantity at left tackle. Norwell, a Cincinnati kid, will be a second-year starter. Lindsley really came and surprised last year as the center. He's back, not playing today because of injury, but he's expected to be fine. And then you got Marcus Hall at the right guard. But what we don't know about is the right tackle. Now, there's a couple of guys in the mix. Taylor Decker, and Chase Ferris are expected to be competing in the fall to be the right tackle, but nothing is set in stone right now, and a day like today is very important for Chase Ferris and Taylor Decker.
Yeah, the coaching staff wouldn't even go as far, well, here's a front runner. Here they're saying, hey, we've still got a concern. One thing about this Ohio State coaching staff and Urban Meyer, they call it like they see it. They don't try to soft sell it. You know exactly what they think when you say, hey, how good do you feel about the right tackle position? We don't feel good at all yet. But you look at the projected offensive line, what it should be. These guys are going to be in the range of averaging about 6'5", 310 pounds. That's big.
Now, in sports, remember, Coach, we talked about it a little bit ago. The exact same question at right tackle a year ago, but it was Reed Fragel who stepped up and was terrific. So if they can get that type of production at right tackle for the second straight year, all will be well in Columbus. Another guy in the mix at right tackle is a freshman, Pat Elflein.
Yeah, they got a couple guys, and all too often about all positions, if you have 3 or 4 and you can't decide which one's the best, probably none of them are, And sooner or later you got to make one guy a one, and you'll probably be better.
That was a situation. I don't know if he would have seen that last year from Braxton Miller, Coach. He was staring down a receiver left side of the field, and at the last minute came over the middle and got Philly Brown. Well, that was definitely a second, maybe even a third option for Braxton Miller in that play. Again, another deep ball. Nobody home. Just throwing it away.
Long foul ball. But, because they went undefeated last year, I think it becomes minimized. This is only the second year for Urban Meyer and his coaching staff and this offense. I can only imagine that last year these guys had to be looking at each other. They talk about, hopefully, that the who stage of their offense is done. In other words, what do I do? Let's concentrate how I do it and how hard I do it and how well I play. Last year, they were just totally confused on assignments and what they were supposed to be doing. Remember, clown act and unfunctional. I mean, is unfunctional or is it dysfunctional? I'm not really sure. The line was unfunctional, and the wide receivers were a clown act. And any way you put it, like I said, Urban doesn't soft sell anything. He tells you exactly what he thinks. He wasn't happy.
Now, a big key to this offense for Urban Meyer, you saw it when he was winning national championships in Florida, is the H position. Basically the slot guy who can also take speed sweeps, they can take handoffs, they can be involved in your passing game. Last year was expected to be Jordan Hall. Of course, he didn't play much, took the medical redshirt year. This year, he's not exactly healthy right now, but he's expected to be the starter at H, but they do have more options coming in the fall, even guys who aren't even here yet. The athleticism, the excitement level, guys like Ezekiel Elliott, Jalen Marshall, Corey Smith, Dontre Wilson, a new level of athlete in terms of speed, quickness, and playmaking ability. That's what Urban Meyer said he needs. He's bringing it in. They're not here yet, but expect different names and different big play possibilities come fall.
Well, that performance by that H position is critical to this offense. That's what really puts the extreme pressure stretch on the defense. And, it's all too often to mention to the coaching staff or to Urban Meyer, well, you want him to be your Percy Harvin, and he'll laugh and say, wait a minute now, Percy was a top 10 pick in the National Football League. How many guys are like that? But those type of abilities are what you want in this offense.
Yeah, we just showed you a shot of Philly Brown. He spent a lot of the time filling in at the H last year, and he did a great job. But Urban Meyer, the first person to tell you, that's not the classic player that we want. We want someone who also can be involved in the running game. Philly Brown is not that type of guy.
Yeah, that's I talked about before with Jordan Hall. If he can do those other things, and now all of a sudden he can become that guy that motions in the backfield to carry the ball, especially in their option attack. I'm telling you, these defensive coordinators pull their hair out.
Miller, another check down pass is complete once again. Second straight catch. Bryante Dunn inside the 10. We're seeing a lot of Dunn and Warren Ball for the Scarlet and the Gray because no Rod Smith today and no Carlos Hyde today.
Yeah, we're not getting the full version of the 2013 Buckeyes, but Dunn's getting a lot of work. You know, just a sophomore out of Canton Glen Oak High School, product of Stark County, where they play great football up there. Massillon, Camp McKinley.
Clock is stopped.
They got a Paul Brown Stadium there too.
It's everywhere. Why not? Paul Brown, he was, you know,
he coached at
the original
State.
Coach of the Cincinnati Bengals, coached at Ohio State between 41 and 43, coached from Cleveland Browns. All right, last year, Urban Meyer didn't stub his toe once. 12-0, 8-0 in the conference, finished third in the AP ranking, and coming back to that great offense, 7 starters, only 4 on defense, but it was a defense last year that had tremendous depth, and that's going to be a big pivotal point this year. That depth, all of a sudden, the second stringers who filled in sporadically now going to be counted on to play the lion's share of snaps.
That's true every year, and for every team. Is how healthy can you stay? No matter how great a player is, if he's standing on the sideline next to you because he's injured, he's not a great player anymore. And all too often, teams that have great years, you know, you look at Ohio State last year with that great year, they were, for the most part, stayed healthy the whole year.
Here comes the Heisman.
Miller. He's going to be down at about the 2-yard line. You just wonder, those defenders coming up, they're taught. Every instinct in their body is to lay a lick on Braxton Miller, but they know, oh man, they'd be walking back to Columbus if you tackle Braxton in this instance.
Well, yeah, they don't want to hurt a good player, but at the same time, they're thinking, you know, he gets a scholarship. He's got pads on. Come on now. You know, Coach, you told me here's where my shot to play, and now you're saying I got to tiptoe around. You know, it's but they understand it. It's you know, the really smart players on good football teams. You never want to hurt us. That's what I always talk about. You don't want to hurt us. Be smart.
Now, Braxton did get a little bit of a hit earlier today. Right in the middle of the field before the game began. The entire team got into a circle, and not sure what the drill is called, but individual players were going up against
We'll call it one-on-one.
going one-on-one against each other, and they did have the 2 guys in the black jerseys, Kenny Guyton and Braxton Miller. They both took a snap and hit each other and kind of padded up a little bit.
And Urban blew the whistle very quickly.
To the end zone. It is caught. That is a touchdown. We've seen that before. Corey Philly Brown connecting with Braxton Miller for 6 more.
Yeah, another touchdown. And you know, I know there's a old friend of mine, a Buckeye through and through, Steve Snap, former SID. He's not here today, but he's at home watching this and probably yelling and screaming the best he can on that touchdown right there because he loves the Buckeyes.
Second touchdown pass for Braxton Miller. Found Devin Smith in the first quarter. Now finds Philly Brown. The numbers for Braxton Miller, 11 for 17 here in this first half. 143 yards and those 2 scores. Now that's going to do it for the first half of play. 2 quick quarters here at Paul Brown Stadium. Braxton Miller, Heisman candidate. He has looked like a Heisman candidate. Doing a good job moving the feet in the pocket and throwing strikes in the passing game. The one thing that hasn't happened is he hasn't been hit. Not a lot of touch, Braxton Miller, and good reason. You got to keep this kid healthy if Ohio State has any chance of achieving the dreams that their fans have for the 2013 season. All right, Ashley is with Coach Urban Meyer. Ashley, take it away.
Well, Coach, take us through that kicking drill in the first half.
No, it's not a kicking. I'm just trying to, it's one of the advantages of having a big crowd is I want to see our kicker. We didn't kick a lot of field goals last year, and see Drew Basil hit it. He did okay, but we're going to probably try something like that again in the second half.
Well, last season, I heard you talk a lot about how it was very important for your team to have a great competitive spirit. So this is the closest thing to a game atmosphere. What did you make of your team's competitive spirit?
It's okay. When you start taking some of your best players for whatever reason out of the game, it's not quite as clean as you'd like. But, I saw Braxton Miller and Corey Philly Brown hook up on a 7-yard hitch with 7 seconds left against a good player, Duran Grant. Those are the kind of simulations you just can't do in practice. You can do that in a game.
Anyone really stand out to you in this first half?
No, I think, the 2 defensive ends, Defus Washington and Noah Spence are very good players.
You got to be happy with that. All right, thanks, Coach.
Sure, thanks.
Eric?
Ashley, thank you so much. Urban Meyer noticing what we noticed up here. Man, he's got a chance up front. Defensively, Noah Spence and Adolphus Washington. We have played 2 quarters of play. The Scarlet and Gray spring game. Back to Cincinnati in a moment.